Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Last year, as XRP was leading up to its initial breakout this cycle in November, there were tons of chart analysts pointing out that XRP had been consolidating for, at that point, coming up to 7 years. And that's important because the longer an asset consolidates, the greater the force with which it bursts when it finally does. And so given that we were in a bull market, I was expecting the whole year, and I made it very clear on this channel that when XRP finally burst, it would be monstrous. And that shouldn't be, so it shouldn't be surprising that came to pass. That is what happened in November. Rocketed up for basically, almost a whole month. Consolidated for most of December. And then in January, we got a new all-time high, January 16th. None of that should have been terribly surprising. But there is another long-term resistance level that we haven't focused on as much, and I want to mention it in this video. It's something that's it's a resistance level that's been pushed up against now for close to 8 years. And this thing's gonna freaking burst. And I will just tell you this. When it does, oh my God, this, I'm telling you, XRP is going to melt so many faces. I'm convinced there will be 0% of the human population with a face. There will be we're gonna have to manufacture new faces somehow. That's what's gonna happen all up in this bitch. So I'm gonna share with you that and perspective from a number of XRP chart analysts in this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam. But I will just say, if you are not ridiculously excited at this particular juncture in time, then I don't think you have a pulse. I'm convinced you are not on this side of the dirt. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Okay, now I would like to start this video by pointing out that, yes, XRP is running, but anytime it's run to a new all-time high, it's always been in an environment where everything else is going as well. XRP has never just run to an all-time high at some random point and then it just does its own thing. That's not how this works. It's the whole asset class is going, XRP participates. It's just that XRP, when it participates, it's like the star of the class. You know what I'm saying? That's typically what happens. But I want to point this out is there is so much money flowing into the crypto asset class right now. I talked a little bit about that in my last video. Here's another metric that proves this is where we are. And this is exactly what you would want and expect towards the end of a market cycle. This is a post from chart analyst CW. And he said, Google searches for the query altcoins just hit a 4-year high. Well, isn't that funny? You're telling me that more and more people are Google searching for the term altcoins and the price is going up at the same time. It's almost as if those typical lemming retail speculators are coming back into the space and throwing their money in here. It's like that meme from Futurama with that guy Fry. Take my money. You know, it's that. That's basically what's happening. This is a signal that we are getting towards the later phase of the cycle. The good news is we're not seeing the warning signs that it's literally imminent. Oh my God, if you don't sell now, there's a real serious warning today, tomorrow, very soon. Everything's going to come crashing down. We're not there. When we get there, I will be screaming it. We're not there yet. It does not make sense to be concerned about getting caught off guard here and the market just falling apart. It doesn't make sense to believe that's probable. It just doesn't. Here's a post from chart analyst Mustache driving this point home further. This is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's every other coin that's in the top 125 coins by market cap, including XRP, of course. It's total 3. That's the name of the chart. And he says total 3. And so it begins cycle things. And you can see that we have been peeking up right here into this green box. It just started very recently. And that is the same thing that happened last cycle. And that's where you get the parabolic blow off top. That's what we're beginning, folks. That is where we are. And Bitcoin dominance is breaking down. Take a look at, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart going back the last few months, roughly, I think to the beginning of May. Look at how it's just falling off a cliff. Visually, it's falling off a cliff. Now, I know it's only down about 5% from its local high at some point in June here. It looks like, what, June 22nd-ish, somewhere around there. So I know percentage-wise, it's not like, that's crazy, but look at what's happening. Do you see the trend? This is what happens at the end of cycles. So I don't know how low Bitcoin dominance is going to get, but a lot of analysts think it's going to get closer to 35 to 40%, which would historically be normal. And the lower it gets, that's just one more signal you can look at to indicate we're reaching the end of the cycle. There's a lot more room for this thing to fall. It'll fall as the price of Bitcoin is going up. And so what's happening? more money flowing into altcoins. That's why. That's what's happening. That happens at the end of cycles, folks. That's we're talking about entering the beginning phases of alt season effectively. That's the type of thing that happens there. So everything's lining up here perfectly. And take a look at this post from Coin Bureau. They actually run the most popular, most subscribed cryptocurrency YouTube channel in existence. Here they have almost 1 million followers on X, but they've got, I don't know what the subscriber count is over 2 million. I don't know if it's 2.3, 2.5 million. I think it's up around there anyway. And these guys hate XRP. They will post about it, but they've spent years crapping all over it. But they'll say neutral or sometimes positive things every now and then just for engagement. But when you hear like the derisiveness, which I'm telling you, you can hear it in their voice when they talk about them. They hate XRP, and they've said such BS and nonsense, just false information. I'm assuming it's either incompetency or they're lying. You tell me which, folks. Both are bad. But here's a post from earlier today. This is a good one. It said XRP overtook Shell Oil in market cap. That's right, Shell Oil. Yes, that Shell Oil. To overtook that company in market cap. It says XRP is now worth $211.41 billion, overtaking Shell's $205.92 billion. XRP is up 500% since July 2024 with a new all-time high of $3.65. Crypto is now outpacing big oil. Okay, well, you could say XRP is outpacing big oil because that was supposed to be the thrust of your post, but okay, switch it back to crypto if you must, you irrational XRP haters, but okay. And so I just left this here for them, their own post from from June 20th. This is a month ago, it's a month ago. And they posted here, XRP won't see $3 anytime soon. So I'm just going to remind them of this from time to time. I just shared what I wrote. I'll leave $3 here right for you with a little kissy face. Because I'm telling you, I've been following them for a long time. I used to make videos, back to 2019, I remember making videos correcting the lies and nonsense that they were spewing to their large audience back then. And they've only gotten bigger since then. And so I've followed this front row seat here and seeing them post stupid stuff at the most inopportune times. XRP won't see $3 soon. And then obviously it blasts through, obliterating what, the expectations that they set here. By the way, it's reached even higher. For the purpose of this video, I didn't pull this up, but it actually climbed even higher, at least a bit as of earlier. I think I might have gotten up to like 75 or 76 out of the top assets on the planet. You'll love to see it. Here's a post from Altcoin Gordon, and this is what I was referencing at the outset of the video. XRBTC pair. So again, the XRP USD pair, it consolidated for close to 7 years, and then it just went rocket town, man. It just took off, and it was very clear. And so the trading range, it narrowed on XRP USD for the better part of a decade. It just kept getting more and more narrow. It was reaching the apex of the asymmetrical triangle, and then it burst. Well, he's noting here, it's the same thing is true of XRP BTC. That's what he's pointing out. This is going back, this charting string going back to 2017. It's the same thing. We're just waiting for XRP to break out to that degree against Bitcoin. And yes, it did break out as of November. You can look at this candle here. Well, it's not one candle, but you look at how much that rocketed to the upside. Like, yeah, it's destroying Bitcoin's little bitch ass performance wise, but it's still got to break out against this trend line. And that's when the real fireworks happen. And that'll happen in tandem, I believe, with what's happening on the XRP USD pair. And this is how you get to double-digit price action. And so he said, XRP BTC is about to smash through its 8-year resistance level. This is not just a random breakout, but a generational wealth opportunity. And guess what? XRP spot ETFs aren't approved yet, which makes this breakout just a beginning. Double digits XRP is not a meme anymore. It'll be a reality in 2025. Yeah, true that. That's what's happening. It's going to break out, and XRP will melt faces. No one will have a face. Not even me. I'm going to need a new face. And that's difficult because I hope I can replace it with something comparable because I'm particularly handsome. I'm a little worried about that. Here's a post from the blockchain backer, XRP BTC. It says, XRP BTC daily candle fighting to get through the 6-month retraces right now. So we're bumping up against that as well. 6-month retraces. This is a key moment, folks, and tons of analysts are recognizing this. Here's one more example. This is Crypto Insight UK. He says, focus on XRP dominance and XRP BTC, which are starting to look extremely exciting here. So yes, XRP USD, it's been coming up recently. Everybody knows that. We just hit a new all-time high several days ago. But look at other metrics here. Those are firing off too, are about to go ballistic. It's very obvious here. And if history is to rhyme with itself, yes. Here's a post from a popular chart analyst named Mr. Anderson with 236,000 followers. I'm not familiar with this analyst, but this popped up in my feed and I liked the post, so I thought I'd share it with you. And so here he wrote, XRP, 7+ years, 3 macro cycles, dozens of fakeouts. Now, XRP has finally made its first legit weekly structure break since 2018. This isn't noise. It's the first real shot at untapped price discovery in years. Now, the fun chart. Check your shorts. You sharted. Anyway, now the fun part should begin. XRP has room to test what the public really thinks it's worth without 7 years of trapped supply capping it. This is where the XRP army can rev the engines. Hysteria can spill into the mainstream, and we see if the market values it at $5, $7, or something far beyond the expectations of most. And folks, I witnessed that firsthand. There, not as much last cycle, obviously, because we were under attack by the SEC, but that's not happening now. This is a very different time than 4 years ago in that regard. But yeah, I was here in 2017, and my God, the hysteria. Mainstream media. I remember CNBC literally on national television giving directions to the general public on how to buy XRP. And on live television, they had the host, or whatever his title is, they had him teach people how to buy XRP, and he bought XRP in real time on national television. So I don't know if that's going to happen again, quite that specifically. But yeah, expect the hysteria to spill over into the mainstream, and everybody will be talking about it. It was crazy. I mean, I remember going to a grocery store in 2017. It was a Trader Joe's, a local Trader Joe's, and I was just standing there, and I was brand new to crypto, and the people in front of me, they're talking to the cashier about XRP. And I was like, oh, how about? I was like, yes, I also just bought XRP. And I jumped in. I was like, oh, hysteria, folks. That's what's next. That is what's next, folks. He says, but first, check. You need these 3 things. I have to get little check marks here. Hold the weekly close above the breakout. Number 2, demand steps in on any retest. And 3, volume keeps holding. Secure the level, and the chart becomes a blank canvas. XRP Army, this is your chance. Make it count. Oh, I think it's going to happen. Here's a post from chart analyst Zoom. He says, in the past 30 days, and you'll love to see this, more strength from XRP. It's XRP compared to a few other top coins. So in the past 30 days, XRP is up 67%, ETH is up 54%, Solana up 25%, and Bitcoin's little bitch ass is up only 16%. That's right. That tiny little percentage, only up that much as any real little bitch ass would be. XRP is absolutely destroying Bitcoin in terms of performance, and I am gleeful over it because I know it emotionally is harmful to this toxic Bitcoin maximalists out there. It fills my heart with joy just knowing that. It truly does. Here's a post from chart analyst Galaxy, XRP-USD chart on the screen. He says, XRP might surprise a lot of people. Highest weekly close ever. Looks like it's just the beginning. Right. I mean, well, it depends on how you characterize beginning. I mean, we already had our first major pump, but if you're talking about the beginning of the last part of the cycle, yup, absolutely. Here's a post from chart analyst Dark Defender. XRP is maintaining its strength at the same level as it was in November last week. Look at that. He's right. It's November all over again, but the cool thing is historically, because just be clear, you get 2 major pumps historically for XRP per market cycle. You got one, and then it moves sideways for about half year, and then you get the second. And that's exactly what's unfolding right now. Happened last cycle and the cycle before that, right? The cool part is the second pump historically is way more impressive than the first pump in terms of what XRP is priced at against the dollar. Way, way, way higher. So ROI, if you're talking about percentage gains, it's true it's bigger on the first pump, but say you hold through all of that, you're going to get way, way, way more on the second pump in terms of net worth increase. Like not even close. If history is to rhyme with itself, that's what we should expect. Here's a post from CW. He says XRP still hasn't sell wall. He means that there's really not any notable resistance for the next major push up here. It's just like I talked about it a little bit in the last video. There's a little bit of buyer exhaustion, which is normal. It's going to pick back up. Demand will increase, so on and so forth. So there's clear support down here at about $3.40, the previous all-time high. But when he posted this earlier this morning, XRP was $3.54. He's just saying, like, there's really not any notable resistance up here. I've seen tons of analysts drive that point home. So there's thin air. So when the demand increases, which is going to happen in unison with the entire crypto asset class, in particular the alt, this thing's just going to rocket. And it won't take much to get XRP above $4. That's just the state of things. Here's a post from chart analyst Cryptolica. He says XRP sees an all-time high and he's targeting $10. So that certainly hasn't changed. So look, folks, the best is yet ahead. We just got to wait a tiny little bit longer, but not much. I mean, there's a reason that many analysts have been saying, frankly, it could happen within days. And not that any of them are necessarily promising that, or most aren't. But yeah, given the state of things right now, it's plausible to think that we're going to be seeing something sooner rather than later. And that's what you should expect as we approach the end of a market cycle. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.